Hi, I'm Iris Y. Martinez, your clerk of the Circuit Court. My team and I are dedicated to providing the citizens of Cook County and the participants in the judicial system with efficient and transparent services. This program is an extension of our commitment to providing information services that empower you to make the best decisions possible. I hope you find this episode helpful.
Well, hello everyone. I am Sam Williams, Associate Clerk of the Family Chancery Law and Traffic Bureau, and this is a special edition of the Clerk in the Community. So welcome. Now, listen, we usually invite a representative of a partner organization to join us in the program in order to discuss the different services and resources available to the public, but you got me. I'm flying solo today. That all right? So now, as the Associate Clerk of the Daily Center, I supervise several divisions of civil law for the First Municipal District. And in the civil cases, our office uses e-filing to provide a more efficient and convenient way for customers to submit court documents. Although we utilize the e-file system, it is not proprietary to the clerk's office. Now, since July 1st of 2018, Illinois mandated e-filing to be available for all civil areas. For the most part, and under the Illinois Supreme Court's mandatory e-filing court order, the e-file system initiative provides a uniform filing process for attorneys and self-represented litigants in any Illinois courthouses, right? The usage of the software is managed by an administrative office of Illinois courts through the program provider, which is Tyler Technology or Enterprise Justice, right? So today I will walk you through different topics regarding the basics of e-filing. Registration fees, accepted, rejected documents, security measures, blah, blah, blah. So remember, Clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County is the keeper of the records. The office provides information and not services. Yet we partner with different service providers to assist customers with specialized resources for the different circumstances. So you got me through the questions. Sam, I am. What is e-filing? And how does e-filing work? Well, e-filing is exactly kind of what it is what you hear. When you hear of someone saying email, people don't realize that the E is electronic. That's just, so when you hear email, you just say email, right? So this is e-filing, which is electronic filing. All right, so it's pretty much the same thing. So this means that you can electronically file your documents with the clerk of the circuit court, and then we will receive it electronically. And then it will be file stamped or entered or whatever it needs the document needs to have after we review it. And then it will be electronically sent right back to you. And then that way you have it. Now, I would say this. The difference between regular filing or manual filing, meaning like we used to come into the clerk's office back in the Stone Age days, right? And people would just have all these stacks and stacks of papers and documents, and then just drop it at the counter, or you have your documents and drop it at the counter and say, I want to file this. And then we would go and we would get our stamps, and we would get the ink, have these ink pads, and hands be all dirty and inky, and then we stamp the documents. It's just stamping. Then we have several copies. You have to have several copies to bring in, and we stamp those documents, or we'll put them in the timestamp, and then we'll hand it over to you. And then we'll take it back, and then we'll code it, which is what I used to do like years ago. That's how I used to get these documents and code like thousands of them, thousands. I think I ended up getting like tennis elbows, what the doctor said, whatever, because I was coding them like this, like forever. Like thousands, literally cleared out a whole department. It was just one of those things. So and we would code them, and then we would send it to the next individuals who were there to enter the information into the system, and then they would take those documents after they entered into the system, and then they would file it away, meaning that they would get it to another department that would file hundreds and thousands of documents into the court file. And then really at the time, even when I first started working here, we were literally take these 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. Sometimes every now and again it'll be an 8.5 by 14, which would be a little longer. And they will literally fold these documents in half because they wanted to make sure that they got into the court file, and then they would file them into the court files. And there would be boxes and boxes of this stuff that we would have to do. Now with e-filing, it's a matter of minutes. Like literally that. I mean, so you were literally just go online, create yourself a user ID and a password like any other social media site or any kind of website, so that it's secure. And then you will go ahead and you would electronically upload your documents, or you would attach it, once your documents are in, and then you will send that into the e-filing portal. We will receive it. We'll review the documents, put stamps, like I said, process it, and then it'll come right back to you once we accept it, if it's accepted. And then it will come back to you. And as opposed to the manual documents that you used to file, then you have to give copies back to you, what would you have to do with that document, right? You would have to hopefully had a folder or something that it went to. Some people, it just went into their trusty pocket, I don't know, and they would have to try to hold on to this document for years and years and years. Things happen. People move. Unfortunately, tragedies happen, floodings, could be fires, and that document can be gone, just gone, and never, with e-filing, it's there forever, like forever. It's there. So literally it comes back to you electronically, and then you have it forever. So that's basically what e-filing is. It is basically an electronic way of filing as opposed to manual document filing. So now, another question that came to us is there are different platforms for e-filing called electronic EFSPs. They're called EFSPs, which is Electronic Filing System or Service Providers, excuse me. So that's what it is. So EFSPs are electronic filing service providers. So if when Illinois went to that mandatory seatbelt law or mandatory insurance law that you can't drive without having insurance, well, the Illinois Supreme Court made mandatory e-filing in the courts. And so what happened was there were a bunch of other companies. So just like with mandatory insurance, there were a bunch of insurance companies that popped up out of the woodwork, and you have a lot of these insurance companies. Well, service providers or e-filing service providers popped up, and what they do is then they go to the Illinois Supreme Court, get approval so that they can be an actual e-filing service provider for the court system, get approval. And then now you have several other companies that you can e-file through that will get directly into our e-filing system here for the clerk of the circuit court. Now, I'm going to say this. Even though there are a bunch of other e-filing service providers, you'll see several companies on our website that you're able to file through. You can file through any one of those. But the main one that our court is trained on, meaning that the court staff is trained on, and they see, and it is the main one that drops. All those little companies drop into this one company, and that one company is Odyssey eFile or eFile and Serve. All right, and so that is the one that the clerk's office has training on. They know what it looks like from the front end. They also know they review from that. All those little service providers dump into that. So the reason why I'm saying that is like if you contact us and you get one of those other e-filing service providers, our staff would necessarily not be able to walk you through. So if you had questions on how to walk through their system, we wouldn't necessarily be able to answer that because they're a separate e-filing service provider. But if you e-file through Odyssey eFile and Serve, which is the company, which is the main one that is connected to us, then we can definitely walk you through that because our clerks have seen that process through that the main one. So just letting you know, so Odyssey eFile and Serve is the main portal, should I say, that all the companies e-file in. So that's what is an e-filing service provider. There's several ones. There's Green Filing. There's other little companies and things like that. But you'll see it on the end. You can choose any one that you want to. Some of them have their own fees too. Now, we're going to move on to another question, another frequently asked question. Now that you have e-filing, how do you register an account? Well, it's easy. It's you register your account like you would any other, like I said, any other website that you want to register into, so that you can have the benefits of using. Right? You need to create a user ID. And what is your user ID? Your actual user ID is your email address. So you have to have an email address. And let's just say you come into the courthouse and you say, hey, I don't have an email address. Well, we can help you get an email address started, because we do have on our e-filing computers in each of the courthouses, there's an ability to take you onto these sites to create one, a Google account, a Google email, a Hotmail, so there's a Yahoo. So there's several ways that we can help you create an email account so that you can go ahead and e-file. And so what we'll do is we'll create that. As long as you have your email address, you will create your account, register, and literally it'll ask you to create a password. And once you create the password, then that's it. It'll take you through the steps of registering your name, address, and all that good stuff. And then pretty much it's a done deal. It'll send you an activation link to that email address. You go to the email address, click on that activation link, and then boom, you're in. You can start e-filing. Just as simple as that. All right, so the question was asked, like, what types of cases can be e-filed? Actually, most cases can be e-filed. Most divisions are e-filable, with the exception of wills. Wills for probate, those still have to manually be filed. And then you can actually e-file criminal case documents, meaning like an answer, a motion, or something like that, that can e-file. But as far as a criminal complaint, no, those comes from the police agencies. We get those electronically anyway in some other capacity. It's an automatic download, so those can't. And then traffic is not e-filable right now, but it will be. But there is you can email traffic division right now for a motion. If you want to do a motion, you can email them. You can go ahead and pay online, and then you can email them the confirmation that you paid, and then your motion that you would like a date. You can email them at trafficmotions@cookcountycourt.com. That's for District 1 Chicago. The other suburban areas have email addresses, and then we can go ahead and electronically take care of it that way. But for right now, there's no e-filing portion for traffic, but it is coming. Fees associated with using e-filing, and do you need a credit card? Yes, there are fees associated with e-filing because there are filings to file in court, so it doesn't matter. If we didn't have any e-file system, it doesn't matter, because if you walked in here and you filed a document with us, there will be a fee associated with it, okay, for new case filings for the most part. Even motions, there are fees associated with some motions. Now, there are a lot of pleadings that are no-fee pleadings. So if you were to file an answer or file a notice of some sort, notice of filing, or you file something that just says interrogatory, okay, those are no-fee filings for the court. But in the e-file system, there may be a small service charge. I think it's probably, I don't know, it's probably about, it's a small percentage. It can cost you from a few cents to maybe $1 or something like that, or whatever, as far as a convenience fee. That is what the company charges for the convenience fee. So just let you know, there will be there may be slight charges in those for the most part for the convenience fee, but for the most part, those are only fees that are associated. Okay? Now, another question that that people have had is that says sometimes people have difficulty uploading documents and how to upload into a file. Well, every file that is uploaded into the e-file system has to be a PDF. All right. So if you have a Word document, like this probably got printed out in Word, typed out or what have you, you would have to change that to a PDF. There are a lot of apps, there are a lot of functions now that would change your Word document into a PDF. It's basically, when you click save, it will ask you how do you want to save this, and you can also go into something and you can actually change that into a PDF. Even cell phones. Cell phones have the ability, even when I did my taxes, took a picture of my documents, and like if you take a picture of your documents, there's an app for that. Acrobat has a scanning app. There are plenty of other apps that are out there. You can literally take a picture of it. Basically, it is scanning the document. It'll also try to make sure that the document is straight for you. And then it would immediately make that into a PDF. Now, I will say this is very important that you should understand. If you have a document that is 2 pages or more than one document. So let's just say this is your complaint, and you had your complaint, and your complaint has 2 or 3 or 4 pages, all right? If you're scanning it using your phone, you want to make sure that you're using in the component to say, hey, I'm scanning page 1, and then now I want to scan page 2, and so forth, all right? So that way, at the end, it will keep that all as one document. So there's a difference between pages and documents. So you want to make sure if you have a document that is 2 or more pages, you want to make that one document. Meaning, if you're scanning it, you want to scan them all in as one document for that particular. So you have a complaint. Let's just say you have a summons. You want to scan that in as a separate document. All right, that may be 1 page, or it could be 2 pages, could be 3. All right, you want to make sure that the complaint has one document. The summons is another document, no matter how many pages it is. If you have an answer or interrogatory or whatever that has several pages, that would be another document. They could be 2 or more pages, but make sure that they're documents, and that's how you will upload into the e-file system. Now, the other question kind of goes right into this is, why do I need a code to e-filing? But again, like I said, each document has its own separate code. All right, complaint has a code, summons has a code. So anything that your fee waiver, if you have a fee waiver, that has a separate code. Okay, so each document that has a title to it has a code, and it needs to be into the system with separate line items. Hope that helps. All right, so we have another question, frequently asked question. How can you serve the other party in your case through e-filing? Well, there's a component in there for service. So you'll literally just click, and then it'll ask you, do you want to serve this individual, or what's the information for this individual? So in the e-filing site, you'll just create that person's information, of course, and then you will put their email address. And boom, voila, you'll save it, and then there it is. You have them in there as service. So when the actual document, so you will come back in and e-file a document within your case, and you want service to go to that individual, basically you would just choose that in your e-filing, while in your envelope where you're e-filing, and say, hey, I want to serve this particular individual for the most part. And then once it's accepted with us, with a file stamp on it, guess what? An email copy, file stamp copy will automatically go to them as well. So one will come to you, and then as the filer, and then it'll go to the other individual that is saved on there. Maybe it's a law firm as well that you saved in their service. It'll automatically go. So it's so wonderful. It's just a great thing. I mean, not you have to go trounce to the post office and pay for a stamp. Do we lick stamps anymore? I don't know. But they peel in and put it on, and none of that. You don't have to do any of that. It would literally just email right on over to the person, and they'll have it. So it's a wonderful service. You may wonder if you need an attorney. That's another question. No, you don't need an attorney, except you don't need an attorney to do this, except there are certain cases, I would tell you specifically in probate division, you're doing certain guardianship cases, I believe, probably for minors or something like that. I believe that the presiding judge wants there to be an attorney that is on those types of cases. But for the most part, no. for the most part, most cases you don't need it. You don't need an attorney for. You can self-represent yourself. It's just that there is. I would say you will contact probate division and talk with the office of the chief judge there, or talk with anyone from our office, and they'll let you know what cases that the presiding judge is saying specifically in probate division they would like an attorney. Okay, but for the most part, you don't need an attorney to file for most cases in the clerk of the circuit court. Now, how long does it take for a document to be processed once it's e-filed? We tell you, give us, probably between 24 and 48 hours to process the document, because we may have thousands and thousands that are coming in. And although we have a team of people that will be working through these, also depending on staffing for that particular day, because, staff does call in, judges call in too. So it all depends. You have to switch people around, like any job. Based upon, for the most part, we try to get your stuff done between 24 and 48 hours. If anything goes longer, please contact the division, ask them what's going on. Maybe the document failed, or maybe it was rejected for some particular reason, and maybe you didn't receive it back. So that, those are some questions you have to ask. But typically, especially with order protections, if you file those or emergency motions, those go into a separate queue. Those are done right away. If there's an emergency, those are done right away, the same day, immediately. For the most part, everything's done the same day, but again, kind of give it about 24 to 48 hours. But emergency filings, they're done the same day. They go into an emergency queue, and then they are handled like almost immediately. Another common issue that can slow the process down is when a document has been, maybe it was a corrupt file. Maybe the PDF or something like that something was wrong with it. So that may be one of the other reasons why something may be slowed. But of course, the company will let you know that, and we'll also let you know that as well too, whether it was a corrupt file, and we'll give that reason back when it comes back to you. All right. So now this is a big question. Some of the reasons a document can be rejected, and I touched on that a little bit earlier. And yes, and this is hot off the press. This is why I got this paper right here. I got to bring this with me. Literally just came from the Illinois Supreme Court. This was literally just this order was entered today. TUHDAY today. All right, but it's not effective until September 1st, 2024, but you all are getting it firsthand, all right? And so if there are standard e-filing rejection reasons, you can go into the Illinois Supreme Court and you'll be able to see those rejection reasons. I'm just going to go through a few of them. Failure to pay the correct fee, or to include a fee waiver, and you said that I have a fee waiver, and then, again, we did ask, do you need a credit card? I'm sorry, I probably didn't answer that, but you technically do need a credit card, or if you don't have that, or you don't have the fees, you can upload a fee waiver. And make sure that you have the application for the fee waiver there. You can't say I have a fee waiver and don't have the application there, because then it would be rejected. All right, that's part of the rejection reasons here. Personal identity information like social security numbers, please don't put those on there. Okay, those can be rejected because we don't want that to be an issue. Those are very confidential. Or saying that your document is confidential and is not. Now, I understand to you, it may be confidential to you, but understand that filings that come into the court for the most part are not confidential. A judge will have to tell you whether the document is confidential. Then you can file it once you have a court order to say it should be filed as confidential. But for the most part, please file as non-confidential unless the judge says it is confidential, okay? But if you file as confidential and it's not, it can be rejected, all right? And then if the document is submitted, to the wrong court or the wrong division, incorrect case numbers, missing contact information. We need that contact information, okay? Or incorrect or missing court date on a document. These are illegible, unreadable, or completely blank documents, all right? So please don't, so those are some of the reasons, but you can go onto the Illinois Supreme Court and you'll be able to see the rest of those reasons. But again, these new updated reasons are going to be effective September 1st of 2024. So just so you know, okay? Is there any training available for e-filing? Online training. So you would have to click, there are YouTube links, and you just click onto that and you can get the training on the e-filing. When you go to the website, you can get that as well. After training, is there any technical support if you run into issues when using the e-filing system? Yes, there is. The e-filing company itself has technical support, so do we. We have e-filing or e-file at cookcountycourt.com, and then you can email into them if you have some issues. The other question that was asked is also, are sensitive court documents safe to e-file? Yes, they have to be. They are definitely safe to e-file. It is encrypted. No one can get into our system or what have you. So definitely they are safe to e-file. Lastly, there have been countless benefits to e-filing for our office and customers. Again, such as immediately getting your documents back to you and you having those documents available for you electronically and having forever for the most part. You'll be able to always have some access to them. And so those documents are always saved into our system, even if you need to contact us back and have us send you some documents back to you. So there are endless benefits to e-filing, and again, it saves you time, it saves you money from having to travel down to the courthouses for gas, parking, if you have to come downtown, or take transportation. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. If you find your quiet space, whatever that quiet space is, that is where you can e-file.